Hi.
Good morning, Zibby. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Oh, I'm really excited you're here too. Your hair looks great. Did you just blow dry it or something?
I washed it for the first time in 3 days just for you, actually. So,
Thank you. Well, I know that I don't.
one of those days.
I'm sorry. This is I've never even met you before, but I can tell your hair looks awesome.
You made my day. Thank you.
Awesome. So tell everybody. I was just starting to get into your book. So tell everybody a little bit about what we inherit and what made you write this book and everything. And then I want to hear about what you're up to surviving this sort of crisis
Sure.
situation.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to briefly say, too, you had mentioned our time together at the Huffington Post, and that was actually in
Yes.
the wake of losing my mom. I was in my early 20s. I was so isolated, and I got to go into work every day and read stories from women like you about parenting, about romance, about connecting with the people in your life, about taking care of elderly parents. And it really became a force of connection in my life and a way to kind of feel like I was part of the world again through stories. So even though I'm not on book tour right now, something I was so looking forward to, I get to talk to you live today where we're sharing stories again about life and being a woman and being part of a family. So it's a really cool opportunity to connect with you again in
Aw,
this
it's like
manner.
meant to be. It's like full circle.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
very briefly, What We Inherit, which I'm so obsessed with. I have two copies up right now.
So
Book I've been working on for 10 years. It's a story about a family's 36-year search to bring a missing son home from war. And in the wake of my mother's death, I uncovered declassified CIA documents, letters, and maps in my childhood home, which all pointed to a family secret, which was my mother's missing brother, who was shot down over the secret war in Laos in 1972 and never heard from again. And the crash eerily echoed one my family had already experienced. My grandfather was shot down in World War II, was a prisoner of war in Stalag 17 for 3 years, but came home, raised a family, and when he heard about his son, he didn't believe the government. He thought the people that he fought for were lying to him. So he spent the rest of his life looking for Jack. And he even went to Laos in the 70s when the war was still going on to try to find out what happened. And so when I was literally on the floor of my mother's closet with these documents and letters and maps, I realized what my family had done for 4 decades and went to Laos myself in 2013 in search of what happened to Jack. So the book is about my grandfather and a father really refusing to be silenced, and a daughter looking for herself in the wake of loss. And as I got closer to my uncle's crash site and learning about what happened there, I kind of understood more about where I come from and just the lengths people will go for the ones that they love.
Aw. And your family has been through so much. I mean, you put this in the book. You're like, if it was just this one thing, that would have been enough. And if it was these two things, and if it was, but it was like, the drowning. It's like one thing after another. And I'm sorry. Do you feel like you need to be so careful? Are you like worried something's going to happen to you? Like, does it?
Well, it's the strangest thing. I think throughout my 20s, definitely there was a sense of when is the next thing going to be taken away. I kind of lived in this constant fear, but I got married last May to a wonderful man. I'm actually in my in-laws' house right now. There were teddy bears on this bookshelf about 5 minutes before our call. I just kind of rearranged. And I'm learning what it's like as a motherless daughter to be mothered again, to be part of a family again. There's been such healing in that. And it sucks that it comes in a time when the world is grieving. I know what it's like to grieve in a family when the rest of the world is going on about their business, their vacations. But now we're all kind of in this shutdown, but we're in it together. And it really brings a story my grandfather used to tell me to the mind. So when he was in Stalag 17, they weren't giving him food. He was freezing to death. And there was a strict lights out policy. But my grandpa was a reader. So we had one book with him in Stalag 17. It was a prayer book. And he read from it every single night. He could have been killed for it, but he did it. And that book, my mother brought to every single chemo session that she went to. And there was one line she underlined, be not afraid, for I am with thee. And I don't know if she was reading it to be closer to God or to her father. We never talked about that. I think she was trying to protect me from a lot of it. But I think of them so often as we're all in isolation now. We don't know when this is going to end. We're all kind of feeling a little bit alone. But those stories, they kept my grandfather going. They kept my mom going too. And now their story, I hope, it's keeping me going. And I hope it keeps a lot of other people feeling more connected too.
I thought you were about to say that you had the prayer book, and I was like, don't say that because now I'm going to start crying.
No,
Like
I'm
that.
really wishing I brought it now.
I know.
It's in my home in New York City where we
Okay.
can't go back for a while.
Okay.
So
And I have to say, you wrote so beautifully. I mean, I read a lot about people losing people. I mean, I think like most people was struggling to find, I don't know, I just like love that type of writing and it's so emotional and whatever, but yours in particular stood out. And I found myself like looking through all the pictures that you posted of your mom and like all these different articles and all this stuff. And I feel like I was like getting to know her again. And it's like such a gift that you put her out there for the world to get to know. And I don't know, it was just really awesome.
Thank you. She was a very cool lady, and she always wanted to be a writer too. So I think part of this is very much wish fulfillment, right? It's we grew up with the people that our parents kind of want us to become, and whether it's something we wanted all along or something that just kind of happened along the way, I think we very much have the people we come from inside us always.
And you had the Dear Linda article about the letters that you found from her ex-boyfriend before she was with your dad, which is also insane that that just like arrived on your lap.
Yeah, a month before my wedding, I was really, really missing mom. And I'm not going to say who, but someone called me up and said that they had love letters from my mom from the 70s. And I was like, give them here. I want to read them. But then I got them and they weren't from my father. They were from her ex, a man I'd never really known much about. So it was, you know, even 10 years after someone's gone, there's still so much you can learn about them. I found that out very much with the secret in my family in this book. But you know, even last year, there's always something new, I think, that we can discover, whether it comes with aging and wisdom or literally love letters being shipped to you from someone's past.
Crazy. So you worked on What We Inherit for 10 years, and now it's finally the finish line, and here it comes, and we're like all inside. How are you dealing with this? What are you doing as like a virtual celebration? Like what are you doing? And I'm sorry that the timing is working out this way, but tell me about how you're managing this time.
Thank you. I mean, initially, not well. I think I had a lot of friends early on living in New York were reported sick, friends in healthcare, and it was just so focused on how can I talk about a book time like this, which I every day. So
How many, what I do, and all the rest. You know, if it was just this one thing, that would have been enough. You know, and if it was and before she was with your dad, which is also, no matter what like viruses are out there or whatever, like we're all gonna, it's gonna pass, and
Mhm.
things that you work hard on should be rewarded no matter what. So I don't know. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, you're giving me hope. Thank you. And I
Yeah,
love watching your posts about your family too. We're having these professional lives where we're in the living room or in my case, a childhood bedroom being all professional, but then the next room there's dishes to be washed and laundry to be done. And it just feels like the separation, the kind of gloss is falling away and we're all just being more human with one another. And I really loved connecting with people I professionally admire and put on pedestals and also realizing they're bringing more of their everyday life into spaces like these where we can really connect and feel less like we have to wash our hair all the time and more just like we can be who we are.
totally. I love it. Oh, well, it's so nice to connect again with you after these years and all the rest of it. And congratulations on your book.
Thank you much. Take care.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye.